When we think of strength, many imagine massive empires, powerful armies, or wealthy nations. But true strength, it's something deeper. It's the spirit that weathers every storm, rises after every setback, and keeps a people's identity burning bright, no matter what comes their way. The Tigray people, living in the northern highlands of today's Ethiopia, embody this kind of strength. From the builders of the ancient Aksumite Empire, to the heroes of the Battle of Adwa, to the fearless Woyane resistance, and even in the face of modern struggles, the Tigray people stand out as one of the strongest communities in the world. Let's uncover why. Long before Europe's castles or America's cities, Tigray was home to a thriving civilization. At Yeha, Africa's oldest standing temple, built nearly 3,000 years ago, we see the first evidence of a powerful culture. Later, Tigray became the heart of the Aksumite Empire, one of the four greatest civilizations of the ancient world, alongside Rome, Persia, and China. The Axumites traded with India, Arabia, and the Mediterranean. They minted gold and silver coins, built towering obelisks, and embraced Christianity as early as the 4th century, making Ethiopia one of the first Christian nations on earth. This ancient heritage is proof. Tigray was not a small, forgotten land. It was a global center of power. Most ancient civilizations disappeared: the pharaohs of Egypt, the Babylonians, the Mayans. But the Tigray people survived. For thousands of years, they kept their language, Tigrinya, their sacred churches carved from stone, and the ancient Ge'ez language, still used in liturgy today. Through invasions, droughts, and empires rising and falling, they endured. Few peoples on earth can say their culture remained unbroken for over 2,000 years. That kind of survival is real strength. In 1896, Italy tried to colonize Ethiopia. But at the Battle of Adwa, Ethiopian forces crushed one of Europe's strongest armies. Tigray generals and fighters were at the front line of that victory. The mountainous terrain of Tigray became the graveyard of European colonial ambitions. Adwa was more than a battle. It was a turning point in history. It showed the world that Africans could defeat colonial powers. Pan-African leaders from Mandela to Nkrumah looked to Adwa for inspiration. The strength of the Tigray people was not only local, it shook the entire world. True strength is not measured by wealth, but by the courage to resist injustice. In 1943, ordinary farmers in Tigray rose against imperial rule in what became known as the First Woyane Rebellion. With little more than bravery, they resisted powerful armies. Decades later, during the brutal Derg dictatorship, a new generation rose again, the TPLF, or Second Woyane. Starting with just a handful of fighters in the mountains, they built a people's army that by 1991 toppled one of Africa's strongest regimes. This story is unique. Generation after generation, the Tigray people showed the world that oppression can be resisted. Another reason Tigray's strength is unmatched is the role of women. While in many societies women were kept from leadership, in Tigray they fought side by side with men. During the Woyane struggles, women carried rifles, led political organizations, served as doctors and teachers in liberated areas, and made up nearly a third of the fighters. Strength in Tigray is not limited to men. It belongs to the entire society. The highlands of Tigray are beautiful but harsh. Rugged mountains, limited farmland, and repeated droughts have tested the people for centuries. But instead of breaking them, these hardships forged resilience. Like the Spartans of Greece or the Vikings of Scandinavia, the Tigray people became tough survivors, shaped by their land into some of the hardest working and most determined people in the world. Strength is not only in the past, it continues today. In recent years, Tigray has faced one of the most devastating conflicts of the 21st century. Entire towns were destroyed, millions were displaced, and famine once again tested the people. Many predicted Tigray would collapse under such immense suffering. But just as in history, the people showed resilience. They survived, organized, and held on to their culture, language, and spirit despite unimaginable hardship. Even now, as Tigray rebuilds, the people's courage and determination remind the world that strength is not about never falling. It is about rising every time you are pushed down. From the obelisks of Aksum studied worldwide, to the Battle of Adwa that inspired freedom across Africa, to the Woyane movements admired by revolutionaries, the Tigray people's story is global. Today, Tigray's survival through modern conflict continues to inspire people everywhere who fight for dignity, survival, and self-determination. So why are the Tigray people considered the strongest in the world? Because they built one of Africa's greatest civilizations. Because they survived every hardship for thousands of years. Because they defeated colonial powers and resisted dictators. And because even today, in the face of unimaginable suffering, they continue to rise. The Tigray story is proof that true strength is not measured by wealth or weapons. It is measured by resilience, unity, and the will to endure. If you believe this history should be known by more people, make sure to subscribe to the Land of Origin Official. Here, we uncover the untold stories of Ethiopia and the Horn of Africa, stories the world was never told.